two guests on this next song. John Wesley is just one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet. And he is from Porcupine Tree and Vertical Horizon. I mean, just killer bands.
The Bubba Bash is a tribute to Neil Peart by a bunch of his friends that got together with Michael Mossback, who was Neil's writing partner and probably his dearest friend all the way up until he passed away. And we decided to get together and put together a couple of shows in his honor. We did one last year with the band YYNOT hosting. YYNOT is an amazing, amazing Rush tribute band. And the way it worked was is each of us would come in and sit in with YYNOT and play a track or two or three, and then roll on, and then the next guy would roll in. Most of the people that were playing were all drummers, a couple of bass players, and myself. I was the only guest guitarist. Billy Alexander from YYNOT is the main guitarist, and he's fabulous. You should hear him. He cops every Alex tone you can imagine. Brings Alex's playing to life. You just close your eyes and just sit there with the experience. You feel like you're reliving some of those moments you might have had watching Rush in the early days. So the way it works is we get this group of people together, we put on the show, people come to the show, and we've got a QR code and an email address that you can go to, and we try and get everyone to donate to Neil's charity at Cedars-Sinai, where he was treated. And we try and get everyone to donate $21.12. Yep, $21.12. Get it? $21.12. Anyway, I will link to that charity in the description on this video. If you got $21.12 extra, please go there and support Neil's charity. So let's get to the technical side of the bash. YYNOT hosts it, and they know a bunch of Rush songs really, really well. And like I said, they're amazing. And as players, we would just swap in and swap out. Now, as you can imagine, there's amazing, amazing drummers, but it's a jam. You roll in, you get the one run through of each song that you're playing in the afternoon, and it's got to be dialed in. You got to walk in, and you have to have it nailed. There's no room for not knowing what you're doing and working out the parts, and it's complex music. I've been in a few prog bands, and the bands that I've played with, working out stuff like this, you usually get a few rehearsals. So in this particular gig, you really have to be wired. Last year I played Tom Sawyer and Limelight. This year I played Limelight, Subdivisions, and Afterimage. I wanted to describe a little bit of how I prepped for that. Obviously, you've got to have your act together when you walk in. For me, as a guitarist, I was going to walk in and use Billy's rig. So he has a fabulous rig, sounds fantastic, but I had never used it before, so I needed to make sure that I was ready to whatever sounds he had. Whatever pedal assignments, I had to figure all that out and be prepped for it. So what I did, obviously, is I went on the internet and found a few sources of how to learn the songs, started working them in, but then at one point, I get to the point to where I just want to play to the bass and drums. Because if you're playing along with the track, and sometimes it's all you got, you know, you're going to cue off the original parts that you're playing. So I prefer to get it to a point to where those parts there aren't there anymore. And luckily with Rush, there's several sites out there where you can grab just a bass and drum performance. So I was able to find Limelight on bass and drums, and I was able to find Subdivisions, a drum track, Subdivisions, a bass track, and then I put them in Pro Tools, married them together, bounced them out, and I put them into this little program here called Transcribe. And Transcribe is a program for learning songs. You load an MP3 into it, and you can isolate little tiny parts of it. You can change the keys, you can slow it down, speed it up, and it doesn't change it doesn't stretch it out to where it's unlistenable or unplayable. It actually sounds really good. And you know, if you want to run a section, like let's say you want to take that section right there, you can just highlight that section and run it over and over and over and over again. That works really handy when you're trying to work out a solo section or something difficult. So what I do is I learn the song, got the vocals in my head, got the guitar parts in my head, and then I go to just playing with the bass and drums. So what I've done for you is I've done a run through of what it would have been like when I was just finishing up at the very end of my practice with just bass and drums. Now, one of the important things is I would get up out of my seat, stand up, and just try and move around a little bit. And I'm not going to jump around like an idiot in my studio here. But you want to be moving around, and the closer you get to finalizing your performance before you go play it with the guys, is you want to be able to put some energy into it. You want to be able to put some energy and some life into the parts. So that's kind of where I got to, and while I still had it fresh in my mind, I wanted to capture that, put it on video, and let you see it for yourself. So the first track I did was Subdivisions, and that's the one we're going to go through today. So here's the recording of it. I hope you enjoy it. That was Subdivisions. As you can see, I wasn't jumping around. I was still kind of looking at my hands a bit, but I was pretty sure of the arrangements at that point, and the sounds. I was using my old Marshall head. I have a Cameron modded 100-watt Super Lead 120. I think it's 1975 that he modded, and it sounds amazing. I've used that amp for years on multiple recordings, going all the way back to the Porcupine Tree days. I had my pedal board, Klon Centaur, Diamond delay, the gig rig. I have the gig rig in everything. I've got the gig rig Atom, and I also have a separate pedal board looped into the Atom that's got a G2, gig rig G2 on it, and I have a bunch of pedals in that loop. And I'll go through all that at some point. But those were the sounds. I recorded those into a 412 cabinet. I've got an early 70s basket weave in an ISO box out in a shed, mic'd up with a 57 and a 421, run through Vintech Neve style mic pre's, and I mixed those two tones together. I played my PRS. As you see, I'm really comfortable on that guitar. That guitar sounds amazing, and I think it really does the Alex tone justice. Now, these aren't the tones that I played on the evening of the Bubba Bash, because I was using Billy Alexander's rig, and it sounded phenomenal. So when I walked up there, he showed me a few places where the pedals was pedal changes were going to be, and you'll see as I'm playing live, I'm changing sounds as much as I need to. I'm changing the solo sounds, I'm changing some of the mid parts, so that I get used to changing those sounds when I do it live. So the main thing is learn the songs to the bass and drum part, to where you've got to memorize. I used to do that a lot, especially back in the days when I was playing really complex music. I would get that to the point to where anytime I could get the isolated tracks, I would learn it to bass and drums. And then I played along with the vocals in there as well to cue off of. And then try and put some energy in the parts, bring some life to it. Now, one thing I want to clarify, this isn't a lesson. What I'm playing is going to be really close to what Alex Lifeson played, but it's not exactly. It's my interpretation of those parts, and me playing those parts in the best form that I can to bring those to life in honor of our dear friend, our good friend Neil. Please go to the link below and donate your $21.12 in honor of our dear friend Neil. Thank you. This is John Wesley signing out. I really appreciate you guys checking it out. Be sure to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and I really hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.